Ladies and gentlemen, happy America Day. Sadly, we missed
That
it.
it is. Yeah, it's close enough.
Close enough.
From the fireworks, you'd never know it wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
It's like,
Uh,
sorry, is this the 4th of July or is it the 2nd through the 6th of July?
it's the week of July.
It's the week. It never ends. Seems like it never ends.
Ladies and
It was weird though
gentlemen.
because
Oh,
yesterday
yes,
I heard way more stuff going on than the actual 4th.
we
Like,
had teenage kids buying like Roman
it's
candles
so
and
weird.
igniting them in the parking lot.
Nice.
Oh, dude, it was ridiculous. I'm the Miss Orion, and I'm dead inside.
I'm Cairo and I'm shortly behind.
And welcome to the Two Schmoes Show, ladies and gentlemen.
It's been a week.
Hasn't it?
It feels like it. It really does.
How was your week besides the whole stuff you were telling me earlier?
Besides work kind of sucked, but besides work, not too bad. One of the video review essay sort of YouTubers who I follow, it's called The Closer Look,
Mm-hmm.
has evolved into feature length movie essay YouTuber. He put out an hour and 45-minute video yesterday critiquing why the Star Wars sequels are such bad sequels. Not just like bad movies, but specifically bad sequels.
All of this week, I've been thinking about how we totally forgot to talk about Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, we did. And you
Yeah,
know what? I haven't seen it.
you haven't seen
I
it?
couldn't be bothered. I just don't care because I know, like, I have an idea in my head of what the movie should be. I just know it's not going to be that.
Oh no, dude, it's way worse.
Like, the whole there was a really good part that the guy brought up. He was talking about, like, the worst decision they made was switching from JJ to Ryan Johnson and then back to JJ. Having two different directors work on it was just a complete mistake.
Wasn't it though?
Because I think we're well past spoilers right now.
Oh yeah.
Like, the whole idea of bringing Palpatine back just makes no sense because it's not foreshadowed at all. It's just random. I don't know. It just makes me not want to see it. I do have Disney Plus right now, though.
Oh, do you
We'll get into
now?
why. We'll get into why later. But I'll probably watch it while I have that.
I was actually about to say I could give you a rundown of the plot and we can make fun of it, or I mean, based
I
off your first
I have
reactions.
I have a pretty good idea of the plot.
You mean with the force healing?
Yeah, major plot points. I sort of know what happens.
Gee whiz, gee whiz, gee whiz.
Yeah, whole thing is such a mess, though. But he did have a really good. His whole thing with this was that he wanted to use it not just as a way to complain about something, but to give his idea of what should have happened instead. And it was actually a pretty good idea.
What was
But
it?
so I don't know. I made a comment. Let me see if I can find it real quick. His whole idea was to take the sequel trilogy,
Yeah.
and change it into a look like an official Disney look into the extended universe,
Oh,
which
yeah.
they of course wrote off in its entirety, so that doesn't really work. But his idea was to bring in I don't know how to really spell this or pronounce it, but the Yu Zhang Vong, which is some like extra galaxy race that is apparently super advanced and tries to wipe out like the known Star Wars galaxy. And the whole idea of it was that there's such an overwhelming force that, the Sith and the Jedi have to actually work together for once to a common goal. And in that, they sort of, mend bridges and wipe away the mistakes of both of their pasts to go towards a better future. It was a lot. It's just, anything's better than what they did, but it was a very interesting idea. I liked it a lot.
That is a really cool idea. It's amazing to
Mhm.
me how these movies feel like they weren't written by people who know Star Wars.
Right. And that was the thing, is that, like, apparently Ryan Johnson very specifically said that he was a Star Wars fan, but when you watch his movie, it's hard to see how that's true, because he just sort of wrote off and threw away so much stuff just for the sake of telling the story that he seemed to want to tell. And I think that's the big thing, is that Abrams and Johnson are both really good directors and writers in their own right. They have a pretty great look, or I'm not sure what the word for it is. I've lost it.
Style?
But they have, I don't know. They have movies that they've both done that are amazing. You
Yes.
know, I mean, Abrams has probably a dozen of them, and right after Star Wars, Ryan Johnson did Knives Out, which is a phenomenal movie. And so
Yes.
they're great storytellers. They just suck at dealing with Star Wars.
Well,
You'd never thought you'd hear it, but it's like you almost want George Lucas to work on it again, because at least he knew what the universe was supposed to look like.
I think it's very hard to step into the shoes of Star Wars if you have let's face it, Disney marketed those movies to be focus group to hell and back.
They definitely did,
Those movies,
but I feel like even go ahead.
sorry, I feel like they took no risk in like a
Mhm.
greater sense. Like Ryan Johnson
Yeah.
took risk, don't get me wrong, but they didn't take
He
any
took the wrong risks.
he took the wrong risk.
Yeah, the big problem that I have with it though is that just from the first to the second movie, there's so many inconsistencies that even a casual moviegoer, someone who's not seen anything outside of the main, I guess up to that point, the first 6 Star Wars movies, would be should at least be able to notice these tonal inconsistencies, things that just don't make sense. Even if you can write off the stuff that, you know, makes for really cool set piece moments, the overall story of it just doesn't make sense, and it just doesn't feel like something I want to go and watch again.
You want to hear my honest opinion?
Yes,
Prequels are
very
better.
much. Oh yeah, by far. Like I don't think there's even an argument to be made the other way there. The sequel movies have some really good CGI, but honestly, at this point, what doesn't?
Yeah.
It's so cheap to do good CGI at this point that it's not even that impressive. I was actually noticing that looking at what would be the second movie, the second prequel, the CGI is already starting to look kind of outdated in a
What?
weird way, especially like the monsters, the aliens they have.
Oh,
They look awkward.
I agree with that, especially with the Dex Cafe scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is weird because, you know, like in the nostalgia glasses vision of it, it looked amazing. It looked so realistic. But now there's just so much stuff that's so much better.
I mean, look at Thanos.
It looks dated. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Thanos, I think, is going to be his own subject in CGI
Mhm.
classes in the future.
Yeah. They, they did an amazing job with it. Just everything that they've been able to do with improved and just generally better motion capture of like faces and stuff is just blows anything that they've tried to do in the past out of the water. Like video games too. If there was a pretty infamous cutscene in one of the recent Destiny updates where there's like a not like an in-game cutscene, so it's not scripted out or anything like that. It's very unpolished. And it just uses like the regular like noise to mouth converter sort of software to do the mouth motions on it.
yeah.
And there's a part in it where this guy does this really long sort of hearty chortle for a good 3-4 seconds, and it doesn't match at all. It looks so gross and weird and just kind of terrifying. It's like, why doesn't your mouth match the noise that's coming out of it? And it's like that's like the whole prequels is just using that.
You know, I can totally see it.
Yeah. But I don't know.
You know what my
Even,
favorite criticism of Rise of Skywalker is?
Hmm.
If you had to choose, like, if you had to bring back a dead character for no particular reason, you could choose this vast library of badasses to bring back that would
Mhm.
buy movie tickets.
Yep.
Why Palpatine? Why
Yeah,
not Darth Vader?
Yeah. I guess in the universe, Palpatine is one of the few that could plausibly still be alive because we only saw him fall down really far.
Help!
But,
I've fallen
yeah.
and I can't get
From
up.
like from like an actual character perspective though, it's just done to death. He's been in all 6 of the movies at this point.
Oh
Who
yeah.
cares? Yeah.
Uh,
One of the other parts that was brought up pretty heavily in his sort of critique of it, though, was the world building side of it. In all of the sequels, there's no world building at all. All you know is what they show on camera, and you don't get the feel that there's anything happening outside of what they're actually showing you.
oh, of
And
course.
compared to what Lucas was doing, it's not even comparable,
Okay,
and it just makes it boring to watch.
name one setting in the sequels that was unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
not. There's not at all.
I mean,
Because it's like, all right, Jakku, that's Tatooine.
yeah,
Um,
Casino
the
Planet. It's a casino.
yeah, Salt Planet, that's Hoth.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just one to one places we've already seen.
yeah. My
Although I do have personally, I give the Salt Planet thing a bit of a pass because the visuals on that were pretty great with the red dust being kicked up. I
oh yeah,
did really enjoy that.
I will say,
Yeah.
Last Jedi made me really love the color red.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's visually stunning in that film.
It it did use color really well.
Yes.
But one of the things that it was like a question at the start of it to talk about the world building is for a question for the people who aren't invested in a Star Wars story outside of the main movies was basically just who are the First Order? You know,
Space
are
Nazis.
they? But no, like more specifically than that, are they like a small militia sort of group with barely any control, trying to struggle and find their place in the system? Are they this huge dominant force like the Republic was? And you have no way of knowing. And either one that you try to choose as like a perspective to get behind, neither makes sense. Because if they're a small group, how can they afford to build something like Starkiller Base that would be trillions and trillions of whatever credits or whatever? It would be completely unfeasible for a small group to do it. But if you're a large group, it still doesn't make sense because they've got two perfect examples in their history of how it doesn't work when you could just spend all that money on building a bigger fleet and bringing in more troops and just fighting and gaining territory the way that historically it has always worked with large ground battles. Yeah, just there's just so much that doesn't make sense.
When The Force Awakens was first announced and the title of Force Awakens showed up, I never said this out loud because I was always afraid of jinxing it, but I thought to myself, that sounds like a fanfic.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that this goes on, like the Star Wars sequels, the more it feels like fanfic to me. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
you have the original story, which is an honest attempt at writing a good Star Wars story.
Yep.
You have the edgy fanfic phase where everything's got to be subversive and I've got to prove myself as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, oh, I never finished this story years ago, might as well finish it so everybody else
Mm-hmm.
online can know it has an ending.
Yep. Yeah.
And the sad thing is, we still don't know much about the characters originally introduced in this film.
No, we really don't. There was a pretty good clip that I saw talking about the Chekhov's guns in the sequel movie
Oh,
that never go anywhere, and they had taken the scene from what's that one? It's let me give me 1 second here. Uh, I can't remember the name of it. Oh, that's embarrassing. I'll come back to this in a second, but the point of it was there's all these major plot points that had never been finished at all. Like the big one they're talking about was Finn being a stormtrooper is like forgotten within the first 10 minutes of him not being a stormtrooper anymore. And that should be such a huge thing.
you
And they just
think?
completely drop it.
How did he become a stormtrooper? Was he raised that way? Did he have friends? Where is Finn from?
Mm-hmm.
Did he enlist? Was he kidnapped?
They I don't think they say.
Yeah.
I feel like there's the impression that he must have been indoctrinated in some way, but it really doesn't make sense Hot Fuzz. That's the one. Where there's a scene in Hot Fuzz, which is a great movie on its own right, but there's a scene in Hot Fuzz where there's this guy that the police are talking to about some gun that he has, and there's something about, did you fire that gun? And it's a shotgun that's clearly been broke action sort of thing, and it's clearly already been fired. And he's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, do you have any more guns on you? And he's just like, not on me. And it's like, what do you mean not on you? And it goes to this scene by scene of all these, like, this armory full of stuff, and with that they overlaid it on top of it all of the like 15 different huge plot points that were just never touched on in the movie.
I'm looking on Wikipedia, the Star Wars Wikia, and literally for Finn's birth, a birth biography and whatnot, it's literally just a paragraph that references the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, sorry, Star Wars Rebels, because that was apparently really important.
Star Wars Rebels, I've never heard of that.
It's the new Star Wars cartoon they did because Clone Wars was popular.
What? This looks like crap. This is like somebody saw Clone Wars and completely missed why the animation style worked.
Yeah.
This is gross. Oh, and they even got their little Ahsoka stand-in character. How nice.
Wait, which one's the Ahsoka stand-in?
There's a green female alien with the head.
Yeah, I see
I
it.
don't even know what they're called. Yeah.
I did see that actually Ahsoka is in that for like one episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally an episode that just resolved the whole Ahsoka Anakin turning into Darth Vader plot point.
Yeah.
Where they literally just see each other. She's like, I don't even know you anymore. That's it. So sad.
Yeah, it just looks... I really don't like the modern kids animation style.
It's oversimplified.
It really is. Like, I don't know. It's gross.
Cal Arts be damned.
One thing I always look for in animation is particularly at the way that they do hair.
Oh, yeah.
And the hair in this looks like actually just like plastic, like Lego hair.
Yes.
It looks so bad.
You can just take it off, put it on a different character. Mwah.
Yeah.
It's like, and this is something I have against a lot of 3D animation because you can tell they did these in like different spots. Like you could detach these parts off and like dissect them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's the other thing is the shading on this. Let me pull this back up and do a side by side here. Because I'm just looking at like the official splash art sort of things that they have.
Yeah.
And the shading is so simplified too. No. I just don't like it. I can't ever really get behind something like that.
Is that a lightsaber with a gun?
That's what I was thinking.
You saw it too.
I saw that. I don't know. It really looks like it though.
It does. The way he's holding it. It's beautiful. It's redundant.
There is apparently actually a thing called a lightsaber rifle though.
Of course there is.
Why not? What's this even from? Jocasta Nu wielded a lightsaber rifle against Darth Vader.
Ooh. Where can I buy one at my local Walmart?
Right?
It's Nerf or nothing.
It's all made for marketability.
Oh, obviously.
Which is a shame. But yeah.
I mean,
squandered potential.
I can't really fault Star Wars for trying to be marketable because, I mean, look at the original Star Wars movies and how much toys they had.
Yeah, but they earned their way to that. I think that's the big difference, is that they were groundbreaking as a movie first and genuinely got people hooked on the story from the start. And then they did toys. not the other way around where they just slap the Star Wars logo on anything they want to sell a million pieces of and push it out there to do it.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I just learned something very disturbing about my audio capture.
What's that?
I can control the volume that you speak at with
Okay.
my actual volume controls on my computer.
Really?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
It's definitely a weird bind.
It is weird. Good news is,
So,
oh,
yeah,
good
good.
news is I figured it out before I did something stupid.
That is good. So I was going to say though, speaking of Disney properties,
Oh no.
I now have Disney Plus, which is like
Yes.
the only video subscription service I've ever had, uh, because of the Hamilton movie that's going out on it.
Yes, actually, I'm kind of that in the Marvel shows are coming to it
Mm-hmm.
really push me towards that, but I also want HBO Max.
Yep. Thankfully, I have HBO Max with my like TV provider stuff. I have paid for HBO through that, and it
Hmm.
just comes with it. Um, but yeah, it's really I don't know. So I'm lucky enough that I've seen Hamilton. I saw it in Chicago on stage.
No way.
Like it was like third or fourth cast down the line. It was nowhere near like the original hype. Most of the people in the audience were from a local school that had apparently bought a bunch of tickets.
Of course.
Like an elementary school type of school, not even like a high school where the kids can appreciate it. It was just a bunch of young kids. But it was, it's a really good play.
Hmm.
So I'm really interested to see if it's able to hold up to the precedent that they set. It seems like it's being really well received at least, so that's good.
Of course, it's Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
I dare say it's the Phantom of the Opera of our generation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There are whole people who dedicate their personality to just quoting Hamilton songs. It's wrong.
Yeah. What I've never been able to see though is somebody who's like there's a lot of reviews from people who review movies.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty well justified, but I'd like to see it reviewed from people who review plays. And I haven't seen that yet because I don't know, from what I've seen from trailers and previews and crap of it is that it should be fine, but I just feel like it could also be a bit rushed. I mean, it's Disney. It's hard to trust them with anything, really.
you're not wrong. Look what they did to
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
Well, look at what we just ranted about for 20 minutes.
I mean, yeah, they have a knack for messing things up they don't have a need to. So I'll probably see it. I'm planning to watch it this week, so I'll have a fresh take on it when we meet next. But
It's gonna
I
be
don't know.
fun on a bun.
Oh yeah.
Uh, I feel weird that
I'll
we're in the
say though,
middle.
I mean,
Oh, sorry, go on.
if it's anywhere near as good as the stage play though, it's still going to be great and well worth a watch. And for it's like $7 a month for Disney Plus. That's for if you're watching it with more than one person, that's really worth it just for doing like a month of it to see it.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I feel weird that we're still in the middle of the streaming wars.
Yeah.
It's
I was noticing in just starting to get ready for this though that the sites like Rotten Tomatoes must be just so desperate for anything that they can do. Like looking at like top box office movies and what's opening in theaters is just such a departure from what it usually is.
oh, I gotta see this now.
Well, so the movies opening this week, there's two of them. One has some ratings, the other has none. I've never heard of either of them. I don't think either of them are even rated.
Oh, jeez.
One has no information on it
I could see
at
that.
all. So yeah, I mean, I kind of feel bad for him. And then top box office, I know that most countries are, at least were, in some sort of lockdown, but I can't believe that there's not. And maybe this is just because they pull from U.S. box offices more than others. I don't know any of these movies.
I find it interesting how I'm going down their page and it's got hidden gems on Hulu, hidden gems
Mm-hmm.
on HBO Max, certified fresh on Hulu.
Yep. Yep.
It's bizarre because I feel like I'm just being advertised a streaming service, but this is desperately what they need to do for content at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, what else can they do?
They can make the movies themselves.
Oh man, they have an Avatar: The Last Airbender article. If you like Avatar, you'll like these.
It better have
Sort of
Korra
thing.
on there.
If you thank you, top comment. If you aren't interested in watching the video, the picks are Samurai Jack, Clone Wars, Dragon Ball Z, She-Ra, and Teen Titans.
No Korra.
So
Wow.
yeah, I think you could justify not having it on there since it's a continuation of the series. So it's a pretty understanding. It's a natural jump from one to the other.
You know,
But I don't think there's anything wrong with their list there. It's pretty standard fare.
yeah, no, it's literally you ask an animation nerd what they should watch.
Mm-hmm.
Should we get to the news?
Oh, I suppose.
Oh, great. Play the CNN banner music right now. Like the. I don't know. I don't watch CNN.
I don't either. I don't think I can remember the last time I watched TV on the news.
You mean
It's been
news
a
on the
really
TV?
long time. Yeah, either or.
I mean, I watch my local news, but I'm working
Mhm.
at night so often that I don't see it often.
Yeah.
Because really, 5 o'clock is the best time to go watch the news. You can't really expect it to be good halfway through the day because they're still breaking the stories.
That's true. I don't know. News is kind of, I don't know, boring
I know.
today. It looks like there's just not much going on.
That's kind of how I felt. First slow news day since the pandemic.
Yeah, a lot of what I've been seeing in the news, like for the last couple of weeks, really has been variations on either people are protesting and something bad happens either to them or because of them, or anything about people not wanting to wear masks and way overreacting to a situation. It's one of those two
It
that I end
really
up
is.
seeing.
Did you just tell me to wear a mask? You care about my health?
I saw it makes something that made a lot of sense with the whole masks thing, and it was someone talking about how if COVID had symptoms that were more like Ebola or anything that was much more visual and kind of, I guess gross,
Yeah.
people would be wearing masks, no question. You know, it's like, oh man, I'm gonna get sick and have diarrhea all the time, and oh no, I can't have that. I better wear a mask. But it's only my lungs.
Hey, have you seen how much people smoke?
Exactly. People don't care if they can't see it. They don't care.
Um, what was it?
Someone needs to start. Someone needs to start, like, it's basically propaganda, but basically a propaganda campaign showing like what happens when you actually have COVID. What do you have to go through? What sorts of surgeries and treatments do you have to have so you don't die? How do you have to live after that? To like, it's like the scared straight shows they used to have. They probably still have that actually.
Have you seen the social media article about like the bodybuilder that lost 60 pounds of muscle because he was just laying in bed with COVID for a month?
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, no,
I mean,
that makes
that makes a lot of sense.
it really does, considering he's all protein and the virus
Mm-hmm.
attacks your proteins.
Yeah. Well, and if you can't actively work out, you're gonna atrophy really fast,
Oh,
especially when you're at like a peak performance sort of situation like that.
oh hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just it doesn't make sense to me because let's face it, we're all kind of financially strained at the moment, even if you are an essential worker.
Mm-hmm.
Because let's face it, those who are essential also were financially strained beforehand. Um,
Very true.
um, so the last thing you kind of want is a doctor's bill,
Yeah, right.
especially now when doctors are probably making a killing. I have no idea. I'm just it seems like common sense.
It should be. But then again, in flu season, it should be common sense to just, wash your hands and all of those things, and people still don't. So it should be common sense, but, people continue to not surprise.
I had this lady come in on the 4th of July the other night, not wearing a mask. This is not like your average typical not wearing a mask story.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in, she just wants to buy ice cream. And traditionally with that, if you don't wear a mask, I really don't care if you're just doing it in and out because you're not going to be here long enough to really bother anything. She
Mm-hmm.
comes in and gets her ice cream, and I'm working a register. Traditionally, I don't usually work registers because I'm manager and I need to be somewhere else most of the time. But our one cashier is upstairs having a break. So she comes up to me and says, I need to cut in line because my ice cream is melting. And it's a giant gallon tub of ice cream.
Okay.
And we're in an air conditioned building.
Okay.
And I said to her, I'm like, no, I'm not going to let you cut in line when there's so many people here. And if you really want to leave early, you could take one of the self checkouts. Um, so she stops, looks at the self checkouts. She's like a couple registers away from me, because she's basically yelling at this point. And she says, "Well, I don't want to do that, so you can just keep it." And then she throws the ice cream at me.
I don't get people.
Yeah, no, she realized how much trouble she would get in if it hit me, and she kind of like curved her wrist so it would biff it, and it lands on the register in front of me, and then she just runs.
Jeez.
Yeah,
I don't. I'm not. That's one of those things where I'll just never understand what's wrong with people. It
crack.
just never makes sense. Yeah, crack, math, take your pick, but just the mindset of people like that is so bizarre. Just doesn't make sense.
This one woman also came in. This one was a little weird, and it just wasn't logical. She comes in to donate, use our Coinstar, right?
Mm-hmm.
She puts in about I don't know how much, but Coinstar takes a chunk of your coins for themselves, right?
Right. Yeah.
This woman comes up to me and is like, I need to redeem this Coinstar slip. It was for 97 cents. She said she needed it for gas money.
Well. What?
Yeah,
Why don't you just give the coins to the people at the gas station?
that's what I thought. That's not even enough for a full dollar.
No. What the hell is wrong with people?
It was literally the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I stopped for a moment because, like, I just wanted her gone because I was closing at the time. And, like, after she left and I had a moment to, like, calm down, go home, and drive my way home, I stopped for a second. I'm like, why'd she do that?
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
People just, why? If you had over a dollar in coins, you were just getting coins back.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're getting less coins back.
That's like some reverse money
See,
laundering.
this this is the kind of stuff why pyramid schemes and just generally stupid scams work. Is that there's just people who don't understand how money works, like at all. At all.
What are you
It's like the
talking about?
old thing where what was that? You trade like $1 for 3 quarters and you have more because You have 3 of the quarters instead of only $1. Then you trade the 3 quarters for it. It just goes on and on, and you end up
For
with
6
nothing because you're
dimes.
stupid. You don't know how money works. 6 dimes. I did hear a pretty cool story about some guy who was able to trade for um, a bunch of rare magic cards, and this was sort of like a social study sort of a thing where he started with a single booster pack of cards,
Yeah,
and he wanted to trade up with that one booster pack over span of a few years to see if he could get to like anything that was actually worth something. And he was apparently able to actually do it. He ended up with, like little bits and pieces at a time. He just kept trading up and trading up and trading up.
that's awesome.
It's just like, can you imagine being on the other side of that though? Like, you're the person who he's trading up through, and you're just constantly getting screwed over.
It's a negotiation at that point.
Oh yeah. I don't know. People are dumb.
People are really dumb. Oh, I think I was part of a Russian money laundering scheme the other day.
Oh yeah.
Woman comes in with this very thick Russian accent. And she says, I need to spend $500 on Visa prepaid card. And so I do it, whatever.
Mm.
And then she's like, good, good. And then she puts in her purse, and then she takes out like $1,000 in $100 bills. And she's like, and now I need you to break these into smaller bills.
Mm.
Yeah. Can you see the problem there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, we did not have enough money in the whole register to break those, so she had to go away, but it was... I'm pretty sure I remember the Russian mafia.
How there's something like that you can do with that though, where I don't remember what it's called, where you ask someone to break a large bill into smaller bills, and you end up walking away with more money or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what it's called. I remember I got trained for it when I worked at Best Buy though.
I remember we had a moment because apparently it
Call it the
happened to
"don't be
another one of our
stupid" and do
stores.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one of those things that I just don't understand. It's
Yeah.
like, count the money, don't give them more money than they're supposed to, or just don't offer to break bills in the first place. You're not a damn bank.
You see, we actually do affiliate ourselves with a bank, Western Union, so people do assume we have bank money.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Which we don't. We're a grocery store.
What was the other thing? I don't remember it, but there's some other scam that was with like gift cards and stuff. They always had us train on it because apparently people were buying. I think it had to do with like buying gift cards with like fraudulent credit cards or something like that.
Oh, so like,
And it was
yeah.
something that happened enough that they put a upper limit on how much money you can buy in like a week or something at any store. So
Gee whiz.
many scams. But yeah, good old money laundering.
I
Now that's the kind of thing that I feel like if you have $1,500 that you need to launder in some way. Oh, excuse me.
excuse you.
If you have that much money that you need to launder, I feel like there's got to be a better way than like trying to hawk it at a grocery store or something. But
I'm not sure.
I guess, every Russian mob has to start somewhere. They can't all have a laundromat.
They all can't be friends with Putin.
Mm-hmm. There was a good joke I saw. I talked about some news story about Russian voter fraud or something, and someone commented on it about how, what are you talking about? Russians love to vote. Sometimes they even do it 2 or 3 times.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love it. It's like, yeah, sometimes they do.
Gee whiz.
Oh, what else is going on in the world?
I'm not sure. Kanye.
Kanye. Yeah, except it's not really. He's like, I thought he already said he was going to run for president like 2 years ago.
He has.
And he's just like, yeah. But except he's too late for most of the states now to get on their ballots.
Yeah.
because
People
he's
were
missing
pointing that
brain
out
waves.
instantly.
Just so dumb.
I think he was just drunk texting us.
Probably.
It's not a can ye, it's should ye.
It's pretty good.
Really? Really? I thought that was the dumbest joke I've ever made, and people have been laughing at that.
Yeah, sometimes dumb jokes are good.
I suppose so. Ooh. So I've been on thisiswhyimbroke.com to find like stupid ideas for, seeing what they have for the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
Do you miss having hand-to-hand contact with people?
Uh, it, not so much.
Worried about having your hand get infected while you're out in public, but you want to use your hand?
Uh, no.
Well, Kyril, I got just the object for you.
Okay.
The
Okay.
handy hand. A spare hand on a retractable pole that you can use for opening doorknobs, shaking hands, covering your mouth when you cough. Only $7.99.
$7.99. Yeah. Oh wow. This is actually something someone sells.
Yes. Have you seen it yet? Looked it up?
I'm trying to find it. None of these look like hands though.
Here, I'll just send you the thing in the Discord.
Yeah. Like like if I look it up, like the first one is some product that's called the Handy Hand, but it's like those like T-Rex claw things,
Oh, yeah.
the chompers. It looks like one of those. Let's pull this up here. Oh, it's even on Amazon. That's so dumb.
Isn't it?
Avoid germs. Wait, how is this not a parody? What the hell is this? Oak base for nightstands? What? No one. Okay, no. You cannot be a. I'm. This can't be real.
I love the
This has to be a parody.
I love the image they have on the side of the box of the kid drowning in the pool and he's just reaching for it with the handy hand.
Yeah. One of the ones I love is the last picture shows a guy using like a table saw or something. He's got the handy hand in one hand, and it's just his other hand on the other side of it.
Oh, I love the women using it as a selfie stick.
Okay, thank God this isn't real. Oh,
It's not.
it's a novelty prank gift box. Oh, okay. I was really worried there.
It's kind of
It's a
beautiful.
real thing. I guess the fact that this is immediately not like, yeah, that's fake is kind of indicative. What else? Oh, they have other styles here. What else do we have?
Ooh, go on.
What is this? This is called. Is that what it's called? Hide a poo.
Hide a poo.
I don't understand it. Oh. They're fake lawn rocks that you put over the top of your dog's poops so you don't have to pick them up.
That's really good.
Rock beats dog. Stop wasting your time with cheap plastic poop bags. And it's a picture of this guy taking his dog out to walk, and there's just rocks everywhere. Advertise your business with optional card clips.
One of my favorite things right now is looking through the questions and answers on Amazon about the handy hand.
Mm-hmm.
And someone says, "How many batteries are needed?
Batteries are needed.
Will it pass airport security?"
These are some pretty good ones, though.
I love it. It's beautiful. We need more.
Most of these are pet related, though.
Of course. Ooh, baby's first gambling set.
There's a good one here that is the Todd Lawson's Pet Petter. Never touch your pets again.
Hell yeah.
Rechargeable for hotel use. Ah, extra long pet petter reaches up to 54 inches.
Dang it, my dog is 55 inches tall, though.
Ah, official pet petter bumper sticker. I love my pet. I just won't touch it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
About the inventor, pet lover, and noted animal trainer Todd Lawson pioneered the famous arm's length teaching method in 2001. Since then, he's written the wildly popular animal behavior books Use Your Inside Bark, Happier in a Cage, and Long Leash, Long Life.
I have found Captain Crunch Blue Maple Syrup.
That sounds pretty disgusting.
It does sound disgusting.
Extreme chores. Like, there's so many of these. These just go on forever. Page 1 of 21. Okay, no. I feel like there has to be a limit here for where we go with this. This is too much.
Ooh, assault firing shotgun. I know we're getting Conroy.
Oh yeah, those things like are you? I think they're used for like shooting bugs.
Huh.
I've heard something like that,
Still beautiful.
and or rioters. You know,
Yeah.
it depends on the day of the week. Yeah, I remember I've heard something about that. In a bit, just little bit more serious note, I've been seeing a bit of a resurgence in the Me Too movement,
Oh no.
particularly as it relates to musicians.
Oh
I
no,
was seeing
that's a
here
me.
on the BBC's website, they have an article that's running today where apparently musician, singer songwriter Ryan Adams issued an apology for sexual misconduct allegations. And a bit closer to my world, one of the artists on Monster Cat, production label that I enjoy their music quite a lot. But one of their artists, Aerocord, was subject of sexual abuse allegations by another Monster Cat artist dating back to 2014 and 2017, and ended up in Monster Cat having to issue an apology for it because apparently they were contacted by the artist who was abused back when it actually happened and they didn't do anything. And it's ended up today in, not necessarily today, but recently in them removing pretty much all mentions of the artist from their pages and making sure that they aren't further promoting any of his music. So yeah,
Did you hear about the whole Smash Bros. Professional scandal?
I did. I, it makes sense about the reaction to it.
Yeah.
I keep waiting for someone like the Score Esports or something like that to make a longer piece on it so I can actually get the full story for it. But from what I've been hearing, it's something to do with one of the tournament Evo 2020 tournament organizers was accused of sexual abuse.
On a
And
15-year-old boy.
oh, okay, that I hadn't heard. Yeah, that's bad.
Well, I heard there was a 15-year-old boy involved with one of them. Um, a lot of them were using their whole, status as good guys at
Mm-hmm.
a game that's ultimately also marketed towards children as well as adults. Um, to kind of get in good with the kids.
Yep.
Yeah, which is absolutely disgusting and un unacceptable.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame that it ended up being this way, but I'm glad that these are big companies, Capcom, Bandai, that pulled out of their support for the event. And it seems like it was very effective in getting change and action to happen.
For those of you that don't know, Evo 2020 was going to be a fighting game tournament that's held every year.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of a big deal for gamers.
It is. This year was going to be an online tournament, from what I was hearing, which
Yes.
a lot of competitions are switching to. And it's all things considered, it's probably for the best that this was canceled
Yeah,
because fighting games and being online are just notorious for problems that are happening.
of course.
You can't play something that requires like literal frame perfect inputs when the other guy that you're playing against has a when it's not in a LAN setting. There's just so much variance that's going to happen. Any
Oh,
result from it would be pretty hotly contested for pretty much forever.
yeah. Imagine like actually winning that, and it's all because of the lag.
Yep. And it's not wrong. I mean, I've seen plenty of videos of people trying to play fighting games online against people who are lagging horribly and it looks terrible. Think of like what was it? Evo Moment 47 or whatever from like God, how long ago was that? Evo Moment 37, which was the iconic uh Daigo versus Justin Wong fight in 2004. You'd never be able to have something with that many frame perfect inputs in an online setting.
Never.
It's just right from the start, you're automatically making your event less competitive.
The thing that scares me about fighting game players, like the professional ones, is that they
Mm-hmm.
think faster than a computer at times,
Oh yeah.
and that's purely the reason why they can never do it online.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's definitely a shame, but it's good that the Evo organizers and their sponsors all sort of came to this common response pretty quickly.
Yeah,
I guess they're doing what they can to stay out of it.
I would. Not gonna lie,
Yeah, you
it
don't
kind
really
of
have not really a choice.
yeah. It's the reason why I don't like Smash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like the game, but I don't like the professionals. Never have.
Right.
Have you ever seen that video of like the two guys from the melee, Smash Melee scene? The one guy is like giving a speech about how you can, if you apply yourself, you can graduate high school, get a good job, get a degree from college, and make something for yourself. And then there's another guy who's saying that you should like totally skip out in school and just play Smash your whole life.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh yeah, dude, it's one of my favorite character studies of the Smash community.
Hmm.
It's like one is just trying to be inspirational, and the other one's like, yeah, I cheated in math.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole fighting tournament esports, I mean, as a whole, it's just so vague. It's so varied. To me, as like a more action and shooter focused gamer, to think of there being any sort of overarching tournament for all of like the first person shooter games would just be crazy.
Oh yeah,
And
literally impossible.
yeah, the fact that they managed to get all of that together into one tournament is pretty remarkable. It's a feat.
And get major company sponsorship,
Yeah, and they get sponsors for
which I don't
it.
know how they're going to handle sponsors in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the same way with the Facebook thing that's going on right now too. How they've lost dozens of huge sponsors because of their failure to act on privacy issues.
Oh, of course. Um, should we tell everybody about the parlay situation? Update on parlay, everybody. Everybody there? It's getting really mad at each other because they all agree on everything and they can't have a proper discussion about anything.
Mm-hmm.
But tis.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's great.
Oh, I've
It
seen
really makes me
screenshots.
wonder
In the
because I mean, think about how many of the people that are on there who are like the QAnon and 4chan types who are just like they don't care about what's going on. They just want to argue and feel like they're the center of attention.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love it.
it's
And then
definitely
there's the whole like sheep mentality, because it's like it's not actually any less restrictive than something like Twitter is, but they don't care, I guess.
no. They're here for your private information, good sir.
Yeah.
Which I've never fully understood how Facebook gets some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Kyril.
Mm.
I have found the greatest thing ever.
What's that?
You're going to want to check our Discord in a second.
Mm.
Get ready. Oh,
Is this something?
did
I
you
clicked it.
you clicked the other one I sent in secret? Yes, I sent that one like 20
Oh,
minutes.
is that a? Oh yeah, so you did. Yeah, that's something.
What he just saw was a Thanos bikini.
Yep. What is this?
Well,
Is it shown up yet? Oh, there it is. Okay, cool. Hadn't shown up yet.
oh,
What? Why is it so expensive?
I know.
I'm sure you always have a Chad and Kyle action figures. That's crazy.
You know, for when you want to enact your favorite memes.
Yeah. That's they're already sold out.
Are
That's the
they?
kind of thing where I wonder if they apparently, if you click on it, it links to somewhere else where they're sold out.
Oh,
Oh, okay. So it is literally one of a kind. They made those two and that's it.
who bought them?
I have no idea.
That's some real chaotic energy.
This whole site has a bunch of different stuff on it though.
Oh yeah, no, it's what I go for if I want interesting ideas for stuff we can make fun of.
No, I mean the Death by Toys that it
Oh.
links to.
My bad.
But yeah, the This Is Why I'm Broke is pretty great. They have, but on Death by Toys they have a male ego action figure (parentheses broken).
Oh no.
Oh, you can get a coronavirus action figure.
Hey, it's
Wow.
like your polio ball.
Yeah. Me giving up action figure. Sold out.
I wonder how many of these are just one of the kinds.
This is pretty great.
Oh really?
Burning Bush playset includes match.
Let my people go.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. This is like, oh, some of these are pretty bad. They have a Dead Mermaid series.
Why?
The mer people have died by various tragedies. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that's worth a click through for. Just oh, hey, so the Kyle and Chad one is an older one apparently.
Oh really?
Yeah, but they also apparently they do multiple different versions of it, so there may be more Kyles and Chads in the future, but variations.
As long as there are Stacy's and Monster Energy drinks, there always will be.
Very true. Oh yeah, some of these are pretty bad. What else we got? Oh, I found in the other link that you sent me in one of the related things.
Yeah.
There's a women's muscle printed hollow mask costume. What even is that? I guess a portmanteau of Halloween and Christmas. It's pretty dumb, but regardless, I thought it was funny because they've clearly photoshopped like a skeleton face on top of her regular face, and it looks terrible.
Of course.
It's like literally something you could do in Paint, where she doesn't have a mouth anymore. It's just skeleton teeth. It's pretty bad. Yeah, there's weird stuff you can buy on the internet.
Don't you mean discover on the internet? No one actually buys this
Discovery.
stuff.
Yes, no one actually buys it. Yes. Although at that one site, some of it had stuff that was actually in stock. So, someone somewhere could buy those things.
Oh my god, someone made the nut
And
button.
or is this based on like
The meme?
Yes,
Yes.
that's pretty great.
Here, I'll send you the link. It's on Amazon. You can buy it.
Oh boy. Let's
Just
take a peek at this.
$14.99.
Only $14.99. I feel like someone out there back in like 2005 bought like the machinery that they used to make those staples that was easy buttons,
Oh yeah.
and today it just paid off. Oh man, they have a whole series of them.
Yeah, like bruh.
Bruh. Do they have an oof button?
Oof. No.
I wonder if they could do that, since that's from
Fortnite?
no, it's from Roblox.
You're right.
Which is like an actual property. I don't see one. So apparently not.
Oh. Okay, so you know how oof is from Roblox? They actually put that in the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure English dub for one of the Stardust Crusaders episodes.
I don't doubt it. I mean, it's not like copyright infringement is something they're actually worried about.
It was Adult Swim. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I can't find an oof button. What a shame.
Oof.
How will we convey our Gen Z emotions now?
F in chat.
F in chat. Oh, and then there's that other one.
What?
Apparently, so didn't Rick and Morty season 4 come out?
Yes.
Is it like actually available to watch everywhere, or is it?
I mean, I've seen it, but I was watching it when it came out.
I haven't seen it yet. I don't think.
Um,
Oh, maybe I have. Maybe I'm just getting mixed up.
I would say the first half of the season, kind of eh. Second half is a must-watch.
Okay, no, I haven't seen season 4 yet. This first website I clicked on is just wrong. No, I haven't seen this, but I probably can stream it, and I probably should.
You really should. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
The Vat of Acid episode,
Okay.
legitimately my favorite episode of Rick and Morty.
Okay. Yes or no? Do they come back to the evil Morty storyline in this season?
That's a
Like,
really they do and they do not.
okay.
They make a meta joke about it.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. There's no evil Morty. They do reference some other plots though.
Yeah, I want them to continue with that whole storyline because it's like the only actually interesting real story that they've had in the show yet.
The
But-
evil Morty.
Yeah,
I mean,
because everything else is pretty heavily, like one-offs for the episodes that they're a part of,
oh yeah.
for the most part. But that one carries.
I would say
Wasn't there? Let me see if I can flip this up. What were you gonna say?
Vat of Acid. That's all. I was just gonna keep praising that episode
Okay.
because it's hilarious.
Yeah, Pocket Mortys. I remember that.
Oh, you mean before Pokemon Go came out?
Yeah, that was actually a pretty decent game, though, if I remember right. really basic and simple, but it did the job that it needed to
Mm-hmm.
as like a
It
Rick
filled
and
a
Morty
hole.
themed Pokemon clone. Yeah, it did. It did.
They're still updating it, by the way.
Are they? That's cool. I'm glad they are. It was a decent enough game that it's good that they are. I can respect that. They did a good job with it. I guess it shows how much I've actually touched it, though, that I can't even remember if it still exists.
I just remember because they would show commercials for it after like every episode.
Right? I remember downloading it like once and then never touching it again.
I played it for like 14 minutes and stopped. And there was like this all just giant hype around it, like, oh my gosh, people, it's so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Pokemon clone we always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the Vat of Acid episode, a 9.5 on IMDb.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's really good for IMDb.
Oh yeah, I mean IMDb is always going to have a pretty high number of people who are just going to be trolling and putting zeros on everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
In 2020 news, we have confirmed cases of bubonic plague in Asia.
I heard about that in Mongolia.
Yeah, it was like 2 cases or something.
Yes.
And every news outlet ever is like freaking out, like bubonic plague. What is plague? How do you? And it's just like every rational person responds with, "We can treat it with antibiotics." It's literally no deal at all.
Yeah. It's literally people are just hunting for the 2020 meme of the month.
They really are, and yeah, I don't know. I can't blame them. In a way, it's all click through. Got to get those click and ad revenue.
You gotta get that.
Oh, speaking of, let me see if I can find it here. I
You gotta get that.
heard that it's
Click,
probably not going to be
click,
on here
boom.
anymore.
Click, click, boom.
Apparently, the UK has issued guidances for loot boxes to treat them as gambling.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, EA.
To yeah, right.
The,
Wish I could care.
looks like FIFA has just got wrecked.
House of Lords calls for immediate gambling regulation. So they're basically trying to they have agreed that there needs to be something that classifies them as gambling, like they should be. That and this would not be like new laws; it would just bring them under the purview of the old ones. Yeah. If only the U.S. could do it too.
We won't.
We won't. We never will.
Because laissez-faire economics, that's our basis. Even though we have the FDA, which proves that laissez-faire economics is not really our choice.
Yep. And the DEA.
And the DEA.
And any there's probably more than a dozen of different government regulatory bodies that actually serve real purposes. Don't tell the libertarians that.
No.
Yeah. I also heard that who was it? What game? Apparently, game prices are going up
Oh, for next gen.
for next gen.
Which I don't believe that will happen, but I don't know. People
NBA.
vote with their dollars.
People will. I'm not surprised. In general, game prices should go up with inflation because that's how it works.
That's economics.
We've had $60 games for a while now. So I think having prices go up for certain games does make sense. But when it's something like NBA 2K anything, everyone's immediately going to be skeptical for it because it has so much microtransactions.
Of course.
So you can't really justify raising your prices when you're already subsidizing it through other game mechanics.
I guess the question is, would you rather a price increase with no microtransactions or prices stay the same with microtransactions?
I would always rather have a price increase if it means you're getting, the full game.
Yes.
But I mean, that's always going to be a better deal, I think.
I can see AAA games definitely going up in price, but I don't know about anything that would be below that in terms of production.
I think it'll be really interesting to see if everyone follows that trend or if it's going to take a while for everybody to fall in line with what EA and Ubisoft and all them decide to set for the next gen. Because I could see, like the CD Projekt Reds still staying behind a $59.99 price tag if they have it releasing on both systems. So like Cyberpunk, I think that's going to be coming out on all systems when it releases later this year. I could see that being $60 across the board. But then when they get to the next release, whatever it is they have next, where it's going to be on just next gen, I could see them raising the prices for that. But they've already come out and pretty clearly stated how they're not going to nickel and dime players for a game like that. Honestly, if the developer is upfront with the player base and can justify the price for it, I don't think there needs to be a set, video games are this price. As long as you're charging a fair value for what the game is, I think that's fine. A game like The Last of Us 2 that's like actually 30, 40 hours of real gameplay and story being told is definitely worth well more than the $60 price tag that gets put just on the game itself. And that's why people are so willing to spend more than that on collector's editions and stuff with knickknacks and stuff that doesn't really cost that much more to produce in bulk like they do, but still, raises the prices, of course.
Oh, of course. I'm curious how this will also
It's
go.
NBA 2K. What one was it? Yeah. I remember with one of the new NFL games that they had, they like actually ported in assets from the last one to the extent that if you looked at some of the NFL banners that were in game, it had the old game's logo on it. So it was like a NFL 2019 game with the NFL 2018 logo in the actual game because everything was just ported over.
Oh, jeez.
Like it's that bad when some of these things happen.
That's so wrong.
Mm-hmm.
On lighter news, by the way, I know this is
Yes.
totally come out of nowhere, but I just got the email. As of right now, as of this recording, Two Schmoes is now on Spotify.
Nice. There
Yeah.
we go. Now we can have. I was gonna make a bad joke there. I'm not gonna make that joke.
What? Let's hear it. Come on.
All right. I was gonna say now we can have people not listen to us on 2 platforms.
I knew you would say that. I knew it. Ah.
That is really good though.
We can now say we are on the same platform as Joe Rogan.
Oh God, is that something we should be proud of?
I don't know. It depends on your feelings on Joe Rogan.
I don't know. I've never seen his podcast, but I know a lot of people watch it.
I listen to it. It's fun to listen to, but it's like this fun that it's like junk food to me.
Yeah, I can get that.
I think he brings on a lot of really cool guests, and I think Joe is the epitome of the everyman in the situations. And I think that's what makes the podcast work is he just brings on these interesting people and he plays, the everyman for everybody to listen to. And I think that's the only reason why it works. Because sometimes they get into some weird stuff, and there's times where I'm like, what am I listening to?
Yeah, I feel the same way with the podcast that H3H3 does.
Oh, yeah.
Where, I mean, they have some videos that they put out that are fun to watch, but it's almost always much more interesting to see who they brought on.
Of course.
Rather than just a regular podcast show.
I feel like a lot of podcasts explode because of their guests.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So now we need to get a really good guest.
Yeah. Who
Send.
would you want to have on if we were gonna bring a guest on? Would it be like
Are we going
internet
realistic?
personality types? Within reason, I guess. Like,
So no getting the Pope.
no, I think that would be a bit much.
Whew. I'm just trying to think about who would blend well with our sense of humor and our subject matters.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, we've obviously talked about having Conroy a million times on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying if we had to bring in someone who's a well known personality, that's a scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you choose?
I don't really know. There's a lot of people who I mean, I could throw out a dozen names,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's a lot of them, especially the bigger ones, that have just done that kind of stuff so much that it makes me wonder what the value of it would be. You know, I wouldn't want it to be just something that we would bring someone on for our own publicity and to get traction for our own stuff. I would want it to actually be some sort of
Good content?
interview, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, something original at least, you know, if maybe someone's promoting something and they just want to talk about it, or I would even better for me at least, I would prefer to actually interview someone who's, you know,
Worth
gone
interviewing?
through things. Yeah. But I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's a hard one, man, because I don't know. Did I tell you like while we were on break I was on a million different podcasts?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I was on the Eric Zane podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I was on the Justin Hat Just Music podcast.
All right.
Yeah, let me see if I can find those. Yep, I found the Eric Zane one I was on, and the Justin Hat one is on YouTube somewhere. There it is. I just typed in my own name and pow. It's got 80 views. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. And the Eric Zane one has. It does not say how many views. Tragic.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it would be interesting to have like the video game donkey sort of personalities, the kind of people who are pretty well behind a persona, or at least gives that appearance. I think it'd
Yeah.
be really interesting to see, you know, a more down to earth interview sort of thing with someone like that. I think that'd be cool
I think.
because there's a lot of people in the post, like I'm gonna say, like post 2015 meme scene. You know, we've had plenty with like Filthy Frank, iDubbbz, all those types have been, you know, covered to death at this point. But I think there's a lot of newer people who have yet to get their full chance in the limelight. That I think would be really interesting to talk with.
I agree. I would feel. I don't know. I would want it to be someone somewhat small. That way they're more likely to say yes, because. Yeah.
Right. I agree. I definitely agree.
I would want. Hmm. That's a really hard question. I don't know. I can't think of anybody at the time. Maybe like Killian Experience, but he, I think, is a little too big for us, and he's on a whole another side of the world.
That does make it challenging.
Especially with time schedules.
Yep.
I'd say internet historian, but he's also too big, and I can't speak Australian.
Just gotta tape your chair to the ceiling.
Yeah, I can't speak upside down.
Have you seen any of the piece that he did with Sameto Media on his Sameto's channel?
Oh yeah, those little podcast things they're doing.
Yeah,
Those are genius.
they're great. They're so good.
Hmm. Yeah, I can't think of anybody worth noting at the moment.
Yeah.
I'd love to keep an eye out now because that'd be fun.
Oh yeah, I would love to do that.
You know, I think would be fun for us to do if we did like some game streams as well, but I don't even know how we would begin scheduling that.
Yeah, I've almost got myself set up to do it here, but I don't know. I'm at the point where what was it? There's a good line I heard where it's like, "When are you streaming?" I'm streaming when I'm streaming. Like I don't want to do something on a schedule
Yeah, I agree.
because there's just so much going on that I know I'd never be able to keep it, at least not yet. But I would like to start doing something like that.
I don't know. I thought about doing a music stream, especially when all those concert things were getting popular around the beginning of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I forgot half my songs.
That doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. It's sad, actually.
What kind of games would you think we'd do? Because I know there's lots. I don't know. There's a lot of like the Jackbox type of games
You
that I
know,
feel like are done to death at this point.
I was going to suggest Jackbox as well, but the thing is, I don't think you and I could just. We would need to get more people for those. And that would be a
Yeah,
matter of getting the right personalities, which I think we could, knowing our
we
friend
definitely.
groups. But
If we could get the right group of people together, then
yeah,
I'd consider it.
my friend in the Navy, Kenny, shout out to Kenny in the Navy, ladies and gentlemen. He's going through hell through the coronavirus.
Oh,
Um, he and I would gather friends for Jackbox games, and it's actually really fun if you get the right people.
mm-hmm. Yeah, if we could get a good group together, that'd be worth looking into.
I don't know. I also thought we could just do whatever because I don't know. I think it'd be way more casual for us to bring in guests if we did the game streams versus you know, the show
That's true.
itself.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I don't have anywhere near the stuff to start setting up to do streaming, so it'd probably be on your end.
Yeah, I definitely have, especially if it's just something like Jackbox that's super low intensive, like graphically.
Yeah,
I could definitely handle something like that.
easily.
And I'm pretty sure with Jackbox you only have to have one person who has a copy of it. So I guess that's good too.
Yeah,
That way you don't have to have something that you don't have to make sure everyone has a copy of it. You just only have to get one.
yeah. You just have to have the one cop. What my Switch has a couple of Jackbox games, but that's beside the fact.
Hmm.
It's a matter of getting that video off the thing.
Right. Well, I don't know how that works cross-platform though. If it's started on a Switch, should be able to
I,
keep it going somewhere else. I would assume. I don't know.
I don't know. I just know
We'll look
that
into it.
the way it works is that you use a console to get to a hub, and then the phones get like relate the controls to the hub.
Right.
Right. Hmm. Well, do we have anything else? Cause it's a really slow news day.
I had one thing that I was seeing here, but it's a slow day. It's a
Yeah,
slow day.
very slow.
Um, I was seeing that there was apparently a court order for the Dakota Access oil pipeline to be shut and drained,
Whoa.
which is could be huge, but I'm still trying to read through it to figure out like what the actual extent of it is.
Yeah.
Um, Apparently the order is based on says ruling U.S. Army Corps of Engineers violated the National Environmental Policy Act when it granted an easement to Energy Transfer LP to construct and operate a segment of the oil pipeline beneath Lake Oahe in South Dakota because they failed to produce an adequate environmental impact statement. The court ordered Energy Transfer to shut and empty the pipeline within 30 days, closing off the biggest artery transporting crude oil out of North Dakota's Bakken Shale Basin to Midwest and Gulf Coast regions.
Neat.
Yeah.
Ew.
Interesting. I This seems like bureaucratic stuff though. On the whole, this is gonna be something that'll keep the pipeline shut down indefinitely. I don't think. I wouldn't be surprised to see this form that they failed to do, the environmental impact statement. I wouldn't. I mean, they're going to be pushing hard to get that through if that's all it is.
I mean, of course.
According to an estimate by the Army Corps, preparing an environmental impact statement could take about 13 months. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see them cut that at least in half.
13 months. Just give us a year, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
Definitely our
I don't
top
know.
priority.
I guess the alternative for it is that they just reroute the pipeline somewhere else that isn't the lake that it goes through. So yeah, very interesting. Oh, I haven't seen this in so. I haven't been looking. I've only been looking at news on my phone for such a long time that I forgot that I have the Drumpfinator turned on still.
Oh my gosh, really?
It's been so long.
That's like a running joke on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to see it still. People are complaining about it, of course. But yeah, this is going to be a setback for the pipeline that goes through there, but it's not going to turn it off forever.
No.
It's just going to be a delay of up to 13 months, and I'd be shocked if it takes that long.
How dark.
All right. Well, that's what I have.
Yeah, it's a really slow news day today.
Yeah, it just kind of is.
I'm looking at Twitter to see if there's anything worth noting. And there's not.
Nope.
Apparently, the Supreme Court rules that states can penalize so-called faithless electors. Neat. Well, do you want to call it here for today, Kyril? Shorter podcast?
Yeah, I'm good calling it there.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting this artificially lengthened podcast. I don't know what to say. I had a funnier word in mind, but I forgot it. But in the meantime, I'm Nithis Orion, and I'm one step closer to death.
I'm Carl, and I've been a schmo.
Oh, yeah, we're Schmoes. That's right. And this has
Something
been
like that.
the Two Schmo Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, and have a good night.